Listen, I planted these 7 vegetables in my kitchen last November, and by the time everyone else was complaining about expensive grocery bills in February, I was harvesting fresh greens every single week. And here's the wild part. 3 of these actually grew faster indoors than they would have outside. Stick around because number 5 is going to blow your mind, and I'm about to prove that winter doesn't mean your garden has to die. Hey there, Green Thumb! Welcome back to Serene Green Gardens, where we keep your garden thriving without emptying your wallet. If you're new here, you've just stumbled into the coziest corner of YouTube, where we turn tiny spaces into food-producing powerhouses. I'm so glad you're here because today we're doing something different. We're bringing the garden indoors. And trust me, this is going to change how you think about winter growing forever. Now, before we dig in, and yes, that pun was absolutely intended, I need you to do something for me. Grab that subscribe button right now. Seriously, because what I'm about to share isn't just theory from some gardening textbook. These are vegetables I've actually grown in my own home, and the results were so good that I had to come here and tell you about it. Hit that notification bell too, because we drop new budget-friendly gardening gems every single week, and you're not going to want to miss what's coming next. So here's what nobody tells you about winter gardening. Everyone thinks the season ends when the first frost hits, but that's actually when the real magic begins for indoor growers. See, most vegetables hate the outdoor winter because of unpredictable temperatures and harsh winds. But indoors, you become the weather. You control everything. And these 7 vegetables I'm about to show you, they don't just survive indoors, they absolutely thrive. Now, I know what you're thinking. Indoor gardening sounds expensive, right? Wrong. The setup I'm going to show you costs less than 3 trips to the grocery store, and it'll keep producing for months. We're talking fresh, organic vegetables growing on your windowsill while snow is falling outside. It's like having a secret garden that nobody knows about. And the best part? These aren't difficult, high-maintenance vegetables. Every single one of these is beginner-friendly. If you can water a plant and put it near a window, you can do this. Let's jump right in. All right, number 1 is going to feel like cheating because it's so ridiculously easy. But microgreens are absolute gold. Now, I'm not talking about the fancy $12 containers you see at Whole Foods. I'm talking about growing the exact same thing in your kitchen for about 30 cents per tray. Here's why microgreens are perfect for winter indoor growing. They're ready to harvest in 7 to 14 days. Yes, you heard that right. 2 weeks from seed to plate. No other vegetable gives you results that fast. And the flavor? It's like the concentrated essence of whatever vegetable you're growing. Radish microgreens have this peppery kick that makes salads come alive. Sunflower microgreens taste nutty and crunchy. Pea shoots are sweet and tender. The setup is brain-dead simple. You need a shallow tray, about 1 inch of potting soil, and seeds. That's it. Scatter your seeds densely across the soil, press them down gently, mist with water, and cover with another tray to create darkness for the first few days. Once they sprout, move them to your brightest window. Here's the trick nobody tells you, though. After you harvest your first crop, don't throw away that soil. Fluff it up, add a tiny bit of compost, and plant again. I reused the same soil for 5 consecutive crops, and each one grew just as strong as the first. That's how you keep costs down while your harvest keeps going up. The return on investment here is insane. A packet of seeds costs maybe $2 and gives you enough for 20 trays. Each tray replaces one of those expensive grocery store containers. Do the math. You're looking at incredible savings while eating the freshest, most nutrient-dense greens possible. Vegetable number 2 is lettuce, but we're not growing it the way your grandma did. We're going compact, we're going fast, and we're going to harvest this thing multiple times from the same plant. The variety matters here. You want loose leaf lettuce, not head lettuce. Varieties like Butter Crunch, Oak Leaf, or Salad Bowl are perfect because they grow quickly and you can use the cut and come again method. That means you snip off the outer leaves when they're big enough to eat, and the plant keeps producing new leaves from the center. One plant can give you salads for 2 months straight. Now, here's where indoor growing actually beats outdoor growing for lettuce. Outside, lettuce gets bitter when temperatures rise. The plant panics and tries to make seeds, which ruins the flavor. Indoors, you keep the temperature steady and cool, which means your lettuce stays sweet and crispy the entire time. It's actually better than summer lettuce. The budget setup is simple. Get some 4-inch pots or even repurpose plastic cups. Poke drainage holes in the bottom, fill with regular potting mix, and plant 3 to 4 seeds per container. Thin them down to the strongest 2 seedlings once they sprout. Place them on your sunniest windowsill or supplement with a basic grow light if your windows don't get much sun.
Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. And here's a pro tip, lettuce loves cooler temperatures. If you have a room that stays around 60 to 65 degrees, that's lettuce paradise. A spare bedroom, a basement with a window, or even a cool garage with supplemental lighting works perfectly. You can start harvesting outer leaves as soon as they're about 4 inches long. Don't wait for a full head. The beauty of loose leaf varieties is that you take what you need when you need it. Morning salad? Grab 3 leaves. Evening tacos? Grab 5 more. The plant just keeps giving. Vegetable number 3, radishes. Number 3 might surprise you. Radishes. Now, before you click away thinking radishes are boring, let me stop you right there. Indoor radishes are a completely different experience from those sad, forgotten things at the bottom of your grocery bag. Radishes are speed demons. We're talking 25 to 30 days from seed to harvest. That's less than a month. And unlike outdoor radishes that can get woody and tough if you don't harvest them at exactly the right moment, indoor radishes grow more slowly and evenly, which gives you a bigger harvest window. They stay crisp and mild for longer. The secret to successful indoor radishes is depth and spacing. You need containers at least 6 inches deep because that bulb needs room to form. Shallow containers give you all leaves and no radish. Use a pot that's at least 6 inches wide too, and plant seeds about 2 inches apart. Yes, spacing matters. Crowded radishes will give you tiny, sad bulbs. Here's what makes this so budget-friendly. Radish seeds are dirt cheap. You can buy a packet for less than the cost of a candy bar, and that packet contains enough seeds for multiple plantings. Plus, radishes don't need fancy fertilizer. A basic potting mix with a little compost mixed in works perfectly. The fun part is variety. Try different types. Cherry bell radishes are round and red and classic. French breakfast radishes are oblong and have this gorgeous red to white gradient. Easter egg radishes come in pink, purple, red, and white. You can grow a rainbow. And here's a bonus most people don't know. Radish greens are edible and delicious. They have a slight peppery taste and are packed with nutrients. So even if your bulbs don't form perfectly, you still win because those greens are incredible in stir fries or sautéed with garlic. Nothing goes to waste. Okay, quick pause. If you're loving these tips and you can already picture fresh radishes growing on your kitchen counter, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button right now. It tells YouTube that this content is valuable, which means more people get to discover budget-friendly gardening. And drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 vegetables you're most excited to grow. I read every single comment and I love hearing from you. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're building a community of smart gardeners who refuse to overpay for fresh produce. Join us. All right, let's keep going because the next 4 vegetables are even better. Vegetable number 4. Spinach, and this is where indoor growing becomes absolutely unbeatable. Spinach is what I call a cool season sweetheart. It hates hot weather, which is why it's so hard to grow outdoors in summer. But winter indoors, this plant thinks it's in heaven. Spinach grows beautifully in containers, and just like lettuce, you can harvest it using the cut and come again method. Snip the outer leaves when they're about 3 to 4 inches long, and the plant keeps pumping out new growth from the center. 1 container of spinach can feed you for months. The variety I recommend for indoor growing is called Space or Bloomsdale. Both are compact, productive, and handle lower light conditions better than other greens. If your windows don't get tons of sun, spinach is more forgiving than lettuce. Container size matters here too. Go for pots that are at least 6 inches deep and 8 inches wide. You can fit about 4 spinach plants in a container that size. Fill with potting mix, plant your seeds about 1 inch apart, and water gently. Spinach seeds are tiny, so don't bury them deep. Just press them into the surface and cover with a thin layer of soil.
Temperature is your friend with spinach. It loves cool environments. If you keep your house around 65 to 70 degrees, spinach is perfectly happy. It actually tastes sweeter in cooler conditions because the plant produces more sugars to protect itself from cold stress. Here's the money-saving magic of spinach. A bag of organic spinach at the store costs what, $4 or $5? And it goes bad in your fridge within days. A packet of spinach seeds costs $2, gives you hundreds of seeds, and you harvest fresh leaves whenever you want. No waste, no wilting, no throwing money away. Vegetable number 5, green onions. All right, number 5 is the one I promised would blow your mind. Green onions. But we're not growing these from seed, oh no. We're growing them from scraps, which means your cost is literally zero. This is the ultimate budget hack. Here's how it works. Next time you buy green onions from the store, use the green tops like you normally would, but save the white root ends. You know, the parts you usually throw away. Those roots are pure magic. Stick them in a glass of water on your windowsill, and within days, you'll see new green growth shooting up. Within 2 weeks, you've got fully regrown green onions ready to harvest again. But here's where we level up. After regrowing them in water once or twice, transplant those roots into soil. This gives you a continuous supply that's even stronger and more productive. Use a container at least 4 inches deep, fill it with potting mix, and plant the root ends so the white part is covered but the green growth sticks out. Water regularly, keep them in bright light, and watch them explode with growth. You can harvest green onions the same way we've been harvesting other greens. Snip off what you need from the top, and the plant keeps growing. I've had this same green onion roots producing for 6 months straight. That's half a year of free green onions from something you would have thrown in the trash. The flavor of homegrown green onions is sharper and more vibrant than store-bought. They add this fresh, punchy taste to everything from scrambled eggs to ramen to tacos. And because you're growing them yourself, there's no slimy, gross green onions dying in your fridge. You harvest what you need exactly when you need it. This is one of those things that makes you feel like a genius. You're literally creating food from trash. Your friends will think you're some kind of gardening wizard, but really, you just stuck some roots in dirt and added water. It's that simple. Vegetable number 6, arugula. And if you've never grown this before, prepare to become obsessed. Arugula is what I call a gateway green. Once you taste homegrown arugula, you'll never go back to the store-bought stuff. Arugula grows fast. We're talking 20 to 30 days from seed to first harvest. It's cold tolerant, which makes it perfect for indoor winter growing. And the flavor is incredible. It has this peppery, slightly nutty taste that adds personality to salads, sandwiches, and even pizza. Throw fresh arugula on a homemade pizza right as it comes out of the oven. Trust me on this. The growing process is almost identical to lettuce and spinach. Shallow containers work fine because arugula has a small root system. A container about 4 inches deep and any width you want is perfect. Scatter seeds across the surface, cover lightly with soil, water gently, and place in bright light. Here's what makes arugula special for budget gardeners. It's a cut-and-come-again green. So one planting gives you multiple harvests. Start snipping leaves when they're about 3 inches long. If you wait too long, the leaves get more peppery and intense, which some people love and others find too strong. The beauty is you control the flavor by choosing when to harvest. Arugula also reseeds itself like crazy if you let a few plants bolt and flower. Those flowers are edible, by the way, and they have a mild sweet flavor. Once the flowers turn into seed pods, you can collect the seeds for free and have unlimited arugula forever. You buy seeds once, and you're set for life. Temperature-wise, arugula is tough. It handles cooler indoor temperatures better than almost any other green. If you have a drafty window or a cooler room, arugula doesn't care. It just keeps growing. This makes it perfect for people who don't want to fuss with creating perfect conditions. Arugula is forgiving and productive. And finally, number 7 is kale.
Now, I know kale has this reputation as the trendy health food that tastes like eating a tree, but indoor kale is completely different. It's tender, it's sweet, and it's one of the most productive vegetables you can grow indoors. The variety matters. For indoor growing, choose dwarf or compact varieties like dwarf blue curled or winter boar. These stay smaller and bushier, which makes them perfect for containers. Regular kale varieties get huge and gangly indoors, which wastes space and energy. Container size is important with kale. You need pots at least 8 inches deep and 8 inches wide. Kale has a decent root system, and cramped roots mean small, sad leaves. Fill your container with good potting mix, plant 2 to 3 seeds per pot, and thin to the strongest seedling once they sprout. Kale loves cold temperatures, just like spinach. It actually gets sweeter after exposure to cold. Indoors, this means kale grown in a cooler room tastes better than kale grown in a warm room. If you have a basement with windows or a sunroom that doesn't get heated much, kale will be incredibly happy there. Harvesting kale is where the magic happens. Always harvest from the bottom up. Take the lowest, oldest leaves first and leave the top leaves and the growing tip alone. This allows the plant to keep producing new leaves from the top while you harvest from the bottom. One kale plant can produce for months using this method. I've had single plants give me over 50 leaves across 4 months. That's insane productivity from one little pot.
Here's the budget breakdown. A kale plant at a nursery costs about $4 and gives you maybe 10 leaves before it's done. A packet of kale seeds costs $2 and contains 30 to 50 seeds. Each seed becomes a plant that produces 50 plus leaves. The savings are almost silly when you actually calculate it. And kale is nutritious beyond belief. It's packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Growing it yourself means you're eating the freshest, most nutrient-dense version possible. No long transportation, no sitting in warehouses, no nutrient loss. Just pure, fresh superfood growing 3 feet from your kitchen. All right, before we wrap up, I need to talk about the biggest mistakes people make with indoor winter gardening, because I've made every single one of these, and I want to save you the frustration. Mistake number 1 is overwatering. This kills more indoor vegetables than anything else. Indoor plants don't dry out as fast as outdoor plants because there's no wind and usually less light. Stick your finger in the soil before watering. If the top inch is dry, water. If it's still moist, wait. Overwatered plants get yellow leaves, mushy stems, and root rot. It's heartbreaking to watch. Mistake number 2 is not providing enough light. Most vegetables need at least 6 hours of bright light per day. If your windows are shaded or face north, you're going to struggle. The solution is cheap LED grow lights. You can get basic ones for $15 to $20, and they completely change the game. Position them about 6 inches above your plants and run them for 12 to 14 hours per day. Mistake number 3 is using poor quality soil. Don't use dirt from your yard or garden. It's too heavy for containers and often contains pests or diseases. Spend a few dollars on actual potting mix. It's light, it drains well, and it has the right texture for container growing. This one purchase makes everything easier. Mistake number 4 is planting everything at once. If you plant all your lettuce seeds on the same day, they'll all be ready to harvest at the same time and you'll be drowning in lettuce. Instead, practice succession planting. Plant a new container every 2 weeks. This spreads out your harvest and gives you continuous production instead of feast or famine. Mistake number 5 is forgetting about airflow. Indoor plants need air circulation to prevent mold and disease. If your growing area feels stuffy, point a small fan toward your plants on the lowest setting. You don't want hurricane force winds, just gentle movement. This simple step prevents a ton of problems. Avoid these mistakes and your indoor winter garden will thrive instead of just survive. Let's talk money for a minute, because this is Serene Green Gardens, and we care about your budget as much as we care about your harvest. Here's what you need to get started with all 7 of these vegetables. Potting mix costs about $8 for a bag that'll fill multiple containers. Seeds for all 7 vegetables combined cost maybe $12 if you buy budget seed packets. Containers can be free if you repurpose yogurt containers, takeout containers, or plastic cups. Just poke holes in the bottom. If you want to buy actual pots, you're looking at another $8 to $10. So, total startup cost?
About $20 to $30 if you repurpose containers, maybe $40 if you buy everything new. That's it. Now, compare that to buying these same vegetables at the grocery store every week for 3 months. Organic greens cost about $4 to $6 per package. If you buy just 2 packages per week over 3 months, that's close to $150. Growing them yourself costs a fraction of that and gives you fresher, better tasting produce. The return on investment is incredible. Plus, once you have the setup, your only ongoing cost is seeds. And as I mentioned with arugula and green onions, you can even eliminate that cost by regrowing and saving seeds. This isn't just about saving money, though. It's about food security, knowing exactly where your food comes from, and the satisfaction of eating something you grew with your own hands. That feeling is priceless. Before we finish, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts that'll set you up for success. First, start small. Don't try to grow all 7 vegetables at once if you're brand new to this. Pick 2 or 3 that excite you most and master those. Once you've got the rhythm down, expand from there. Gardening should be fun, not stressful. Second, keep a simple journal. Jot down when you planted, when you harvested, what worked and what didn't. Indoor growing is a learning process, and your notes will help you improve every single time. I started doing this 3 years ago, and it transformed my success rate. Third, don't be afraid to experiment. Try different seed varieties, play with container sizes, test different locations in your home. Some of my best discoveries happened by accident because I tried something unconventional. And fourth, embrace imperfection. Not every seed will sprout, not every plant will be Instagram worthy. That's okay. You're still growing food, you're still learning, and you're still way ahead of people who haven't even tried.
And finally, share your harvest. When you've got fresh lettuce or spinach or radishes coming out of your kitchen, give some to neighbors or friends. The look on people's faces when you tell them you grew it indoors in winter is amazing. You'll inspire others to start growing too, and that's how we build a community of smart, budget-conscious gardeners. All right, Green Thumbs, we've covered everything you need to grow these 7 winter vegetables indoors for quick harvests without spending a fortune. Microgreens, lettuce, radishes, spinach, green onions, arugula, and kale. These are your cold season champions, and they're going to keep your kitchen stocked with fresh produce all winter long. If this video helped you, if you learned something new, or if you're fired up to start your indoor garden, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing to Serene Green Gardens. We're here every week with practical, budget-friendly tips that actually work. Click that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below and tell me which vegetable you're growing first. Are you Team Microgreens for that super fast harvest? Team Kale for the long-term production? I want to know. And if you've got questions about anything we covered today, ask away in the comments. I'll answer every single one. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to see what you grow. Remember, winter doesn't mean your garden has to stop. It just means your garden moves inside. Now go out there, grab some seeds, and let's grow something amazing together. I'll see you in the next video. Happy growing!